Hey all, and welcome back to When the Night Comes. Let's jump on in, shall we? The shop is quiet, much like August, as they stand stoically by my side. I spare them a glance, wondering how they watching how they smooth their freshly pressed, clean shirt. Don't be nervous, Ezra doesn't bite. Don't get sassy with me. I laugh at their non-threatening tone, and Ezra appears from the back room. Oh, good morning. August stares almost as if they're paralyzed, and Ezra subtly flicks his gaze to me, a singular eyebrow slowly rising in question. General, didn't you want to speak to Ezra? I contemplate my next move and decide to take my life into my own hands, nudging August forward with a gentle hand. Rather than tearing my arm clean from my body, they simply throw me a glare and put themselves to rights as they come to stand in front of the young witch. Ezra, it's time I apologize to you. Oh? The shock on Ezra's face is evident, but he quickly recovers. Gus, you don't have... Yes, I do. I do. In the interest of not being here explaining all day, I'll keep it short.
I should have never left Argyria the way I did. Or at least without giving you an explanation. I owed you that, and I'm sorry I was too caught up in my own issues to bother.
And I certainly shouldn't have treated you the way I did towards the end of your time under my tuition. Nor the time in which we've coexisted here. You know what Oberon and Lady Adalia are like. They've always made comments about how you were surpassing me, about how disappointed they were.
That's because you taught me. I'm powerful because of you. I wouldn't be half the witch I am today if it wasn't for you. I continued my studies long after you left, all from your books.
August looks like they don't know quite what to say. Color rises to their cheeks and they quickly avert their gazes as Ezra continues.
Your skills remain unparalleled, and your parents were fools not to see that. I still look up to you and could still learn from you.
My healing is still something to be desired.
Well, you can't be good at everything.
They share a smile, and August looks like a different person. They stand a little taller, like a huge weight has been lifted. Making amends suits them. I accept your apology.
I should never have blamed you for the insecurities my parents planted in my head. I can't take back what happened, but we can move forward.
We can. We will. What was it like growing up in Argyria?
Incredibly boring, but enchanting nonetheless.
Perfectly summed up. There was nothing very special about it, but it was strangely charming.
The only interesting thing to do there was to learn magic. Witches would flock there to learn at the academy August's family ran. Some of the finest witches in all of Escria taught there, including Gus.
Ezra becomes wistful, a fond smile crossing his lips. August, less so. True to their nature, though, they roll their eyes as the compliment. I'm hardly one of the finest. Liar, I was honored to have you as my guide no matter what you say. My family couldn't afford the tuition, but Gus saw something in me and took me under their wing anyway.
I fondly remember the look on your mother's face when you told her you would tutor me free of charge.
August grimaces, but their smile betrays him.
I do miss making Mother angry.
She was just annoyed that everybody could see that people are able to flourish outside of her precious academy. What made you both move here? Harry had visited my parents' academy in search of new recruits, strictly witches. I no longer saw a future for myself in Argyria. My family had all but disowned me, and it felt good to be needed. The promise that I might do some good if I took up a position in Enforcers was too perfect to pass up at that point in my life. Ezra clears his throat. Do you regret it, leaving? Pause, but just a quick one, and August answers confidently. No, but I regret how I left, how I let my friend down. Everything happens for a reason, Gus. It's in the past. What about you, Ezra? His smile fades, softens. After my father passed, I felt a little useless at home. I worked tirelessly to raise money to buy my own shop. I just wanted to help people, like he always did, in his own way. Magic was really the only way I knew how, and Lunaris happened to be the first place where I thought I might be able to afford to start fresh.
I'm so glad things worked out the way they did. Though things may not be perfect, I found family here.
I'm so glad that you were able to resolve your issues. It's nice to see you both like this. Thank you, Raven. I'm glad too. Now, shall we discuss the plan? I'm pretty well versed on the words that they use, so with both of us, I doubt they stand much of a chance. Ezra scoffs. Trust me, they don't. Piper and I will head into the catacombs to meet Fen, and I assume that he'll be able to tell us when the wards are down? Ezra doesn't hesitate to respond, his words confident. I can definitely ensure that he knows. Our connection is very strong. Specifically mine with his prosthetic. Yes, strong. Gus, please, Raven is right here. It was right there. August tilts their head, quite obviously confused with Ezra's statement.
Sorry, I don't see what this has to do with me making a comment about your dangerous liaisons with certain creatures of the night.
Ezra clears his throat and offers me a sorry gaze before addressing August again. It's nothing, don't worry. As much as I appreciate Ezra not outing my newfound liaisons with Fen, I can't help but wonder exactly how he knows already. Regardless, I gather that August doesn't approve of such relationships. Maybe it's best to keep that particular sliver of information to myself for now. Anyway, back to the plan. Have you heard from Harry at all since the night of the last murder? He's been around, though he seems to be avoiding me. He's keeping it to himself. I cannot label that as suspicious, though. The man did just lose his husband. But I'll keep an eye on his whereabouts. I don't think we'll have to worry about him looking for us, though. He's distracted. So we're good to go, then? We sure look and nod in unison. I better get going, then. I need to get my armor and weapons from the wolf. Ezra hands August a crumpled piece of parchment, and they nod once, getting to work gathering whatever ingredients Ezra has written down.
I know you don't need me to tell you, but be safe. Let us know you're okay as soon as you can.
I will.
Tread carefully. Don't let them catch you, I have faith in you.
Yes, General, thank you. I head back to the wolf to prepare myself, now fully kitted in my armor and my weapons safe in their holster. I begin to slowly make my way towards the main entrance to the catacombs. The air is chilling, the sun is already low in the sky. I must wait until sunset to ensure Finn and the clan can safely assist, but as each minute passes by, my gut feels heavy with anticipation. I hope this works. I hope we don't get caught. More for Piper and August than for myself. I have so many people relying on me. I absolutely cannot let them down. The flickering golden candle is almost comforting as I head deeper into the catacombs. I know I'm safe here now that I'm aware that it's only Finn's clan that lingers, but there's something about being down here that has my guard up. I smile to myself, thinking that the scariest thing that might actually jump out at me would probably be Raven. I turn into the corner and find the place where Piper and I agreed to meet. There's no sign of her, but then I am a little early. With a deep sigh, I lean against the wall, listening to the steady drip, drip, drip of water upon the stone. Then Fen appears before me as if out of thin air, wearing his fancy outfit again. Thank you. That outfit kicks ass. It's too good to only wear it for one scene.
Good evening.
I can't stop smiling at blossoms when I look into those golden eyes. Finn.
How's my favorite hunter? Did you miss me?
He crowds close but keeps his hands in his pockets. Maybe just a little. He shrugs, smirking. I'll take it. His gaze flickers to the side, then back to me. It would appear that Merriman is late. I shake my head, taking a step closer to him. I'm early, actually. There's that smirk again, and he removes his hands from his coat, flexing his fingers. Any particular reason? I want to roll my eyes, but I find myself infuriatingly fixated by him. I'm just fond of being on time, that's all. Quite contemplative hum, and he seems unconvinced. I try to maintain as much composure as possible. I suppose I might have wanted to see you, just a little. Suppose, Well, that's good enough for me. I'm glad, though. He reaches up to curl his fingers under my chin, making sure I'm looking at him. As if I could be doing anything else with him this close.
You know, I found myself waiting for the sun to set with a little more enthusiasm than usual, thanks to the thought of seeing you.
You're too charming. Finn pauses, and with a sorry groan and roll of his eyes, he carefully withdraws his touch. Before I can ask him what's wrong, I hear a wicked cackle echoing in the tunnels. Well, 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 what do we have here? Piper emerges from the shadows, a self-satisfied grin on her face.
Did anyone tell you not to eat the new hunter, Casimir?
He offers me a sorry gaze before turning to Piper with a playful grin.
Come on, Piper. You know I'd only eat them if they asked nicely.
Now it's her turn to roll her eyes, and the noise she makes is one of barely disguised disgust. Save it, I caught you red-handed. Now we've got important shit to do, if you're quite finished. Piper looks at me, I deduce that she's most definitely fucking with us and couldn't actually care less. Let's move on. With one final glance, Finn moves to fall and step behind us. Piper snickers, elbowing me as I walk by her side, Finn trailing quietly behind
You
us.
sly fox. Vampires get you hot then? Fighting was never my thing, unfortunately.
Piper. Whatever gets your juices flowing, though. Waggle for eyebrows, she lets out another laugh, loud enough that surely the whole population of the catacombs can hear. I hear Finn groan, and I can't help but smile at her in return. As we head deeper into the tunnels, everything feels different. There's no longer the comforting golden glow, the jagged stonework now illuminated by a unnervingly still, vivid blue mage light. Piper's demeanor changes, and I hear Finn pipe up behind us.
You're not in my territory anymore. Stay alert.
Then he suddenly stops in front of us, bringing us to a halt. Wait, stop here. I can feel the barrier. It's close. So now what? I stare at Finn's prosthetic, the etching's glowing but still dull. We wait for Ezra's signal. We stand in silence and Finn begins to shift where he stands. It seems unnatural for him to look so nervous. Casimir, if you don't stand still... He huffs, clearly frustrated. Fierro, you will look for him, won't you? I almost forgot about Fierro. I'm sorry. Yes, I will, though. Piper narrows her eyes, but expression quickly softens when she looks at me. We'll look for him. We will.
Thank you. I know you may not be able to free him if he is there, but just tell him we'll get him out, whatever it takes.
Then Finn's arm begins to thrum, marking some to life and illuminating the tunnel. He looks down at his glowing palm, flexing his fingers, and he smiles. It's go time.
Let's do this.
Adrenaline courses through my veins at the thought of what might lie ahead, and I take a step forward to head into the shadows. Before I get too far, I feel a cold hand gently gripping my wrist. Finn looks to Piper, his gaze bleeding. Piper rolls her eyes.
Yes, fine. Quickly, though. We don't have time for anything overly dramatic, you big dead idiot.
She disappears, but I know she's not gone too far. Charming, isn't she? Terribly. He brings my hand to his lips, pressing a kiss to my knuckles.
I know you can handle yourself, but come back to me quickly, okay?
I smile, trying not to get lost in him to remember the mission. I will, I swear it. He releases my hand, our fingertips brushing as I step away. I'll signal from the forest exit if you need to leave. Stay alert. See you on the other side. I glance over my shoulder as I move to join Piper, but Finn is already gone. Surprisingly, or maybe not, the entrance to the dungeons remains unguarded, and that unnerving yet familiar blue magic light guides our way. Piper eagerly rushes through the first empty cell, eyeing the small, frail, fey-like creature that's huddled in the corner. She picks up the clipboard that rests in the wooden holder beside the door. I remember you. Not one of my catches, but a good one. Faye lifts her head, smiling, exposing a row of shining, razor-sharp teeth. She snickers, the sound more of a hiss than a laugh. Move to the next, doing the same, checking the paperwork. Your demon this time, its power subdued by the enchanted cuffs that anchor it to the wall. Piper scoffs. Clearly unamused as we make our way down the row, finding no hunters, no Aya. Bullshit, she has to be down here somewhere. Eventually, after what feels like forever, we find a cell that picks Piper's interest. In the shrouded darkness, I see a set of startling crimson eyes staring back at us, and the figure cautiously approaches. He looks gaunt for a vampire, his clothes hanging off his slender frame, his cheeks strong, and cut far sharper than what the beauty of his immortality may have already afforded him. Piper surges forward, curling her fingers around the thick iron bars. Fierro, what have they done to you? Fierro. Piper, what are you doing here? His voice is deep. I say after I do my squeaky, annoying voice. Fuck it. I try and fail to get a read on his aura. Oh, you know, just taking a stroll. What do you bloody think? His right gaze flicks to me and he shakes his head, his blank expression unchanging. You'll get no reading from me, Hunter. Then I remember he's an empath, skilled in both making his emotions and reading others. Skilled in both masking his own emotions and reading others. I wonder just how powerful he is. Finn and the clan have been looking for you. He blinks, his movement's groggy. I don't doubt that. Please tell them not to try and break me out. I've no doubt that Finnegan will be dramatic when you tell him of my whereabouts. Of course he will. Piper grabs his notes, tugging loudly as she scans the page.
Oh, Fiero. Unsanctioned feeding on an enforcer. Resisting arrest. You naughty boy.
You know that's not true. They appear to have set me up quite beautifully. Why you? What happened? Stillness is unnerving after being around vampires like Finn. Vampires who do an excellent job at fooling you into thinking they're at least a little bit human. I sensed someone in a great deal of distress in the forest. I didn't want to rally the whole clan for something that was likely insignificant, so I managed to convince Finnegan to allow me to investigate alone. I discovered a wounded enforcer near the outskirts of town. They'd been bitten, probably by a wandering youngling by the looks of the mess that had made of them. I tried to help, assist them in getting back into town, but I quickly realized that the enforcers had me surrounded. They apprehended me, and I've been here ever since. Piper growls, roughly shoving the clipboard back into its holder. What the fuck are they doing? Harry struck a deal with your clan long ago, and you don't cause any trouble. If anything, you do a better job of keeping the town safe than most of the other hunters. Pharaoh blinks at her, his mouth twitching ever so slightly. No good deed goes unpunished, Piper. I hate to think about it, but I have to ask. Have they hurt you at all? They have not beaten me, nor have they tried to, and I'm not interested in being a troublesome prisoner. I feel a butt coming, but they have been taking my blood. You fucking what? That seems pretty important. Leaning without would have been handy. His lips twitch as if he might consider smiling. He rolls up his sleeve and his forearm is covered in angry bruises. I've never seen a vampire marked this easily unless... They've been starving you. He covers his arm, nodding. Yes. Piper's gaze is fixed firmly upon the ground, her brows furrowed. She's restless and agitated. I am too. What could they possibly want your blood for? I wish I knew. None of this makes any sense. Have you seen any humans being brought down here? Specifically hunters? They keep the others far away from me, as you can see. He's right, there are at least 5 or 6 empty cells between him and the next occupied one. Though I might have sensed something, I assumed at first it was my hunger dulling my senses, but... His brow furrows. I'm confused about what species they are. Their scent is unusual. Unusual how? It wasn't human, but it also wasn't something I'm familiar with either. No creature that I've come across, anyway. And I've lived long enough to know when something isn't right, when something is new. I look at Piper, and she's doing everything she can to avoid eye contact. She's thinking about Aya. I can feel worry rolling off of her in waves. Piper.
I need to know if my friend is alive.
Pharaoh offers her a sorry look, the most animated he's been thus far. I suspect that he can feel her pain and her anger. I wish I could offer some clarity, but I cannot. All I know is that your enforcers aren't the honorable agency they claim to be. Something dangerous is afoot. She visibly deflates, her shoulders sagging and her balled fists relaxing. What are they doing? I've dedicated my life to these people, so have you. I nod, a lump in my throat. I feel sick, everything inside me screaming, telling me this is all wrong. If Aya has been here, there will be a trace. There has to be. You're right, we should keep looking. I clutch the bars, getting closer to Fiero. I can't set him free right now, not when we don't know how much time we have, but I won't leave him here to wither and die. We'll get you out of here soon. Somehow I don't doubt that, Hunter. Pepper tugs at my sleeve. We may not have much time. Pharaoh quickly sinks into the darkness of his cell, and I watch him settle upon the ground. It pains me to leave him, but I know he'll be okay. He survived Levi. He can survive this. I find the warden's desk and rifle through the drawers with haste. And Piper gasps as she sets her sights on a bundle of prisoner manifestos, type that should be outside the cells. These are incomplete. Why are they tucked away in here? She reads them quickly, her eyes frantic as she scans the messy writing. I see her resisting the urge to crumble the parchment. She hands it to me and turns away, her hands in her hair. All of the other occupied cells had their paperwork neatly displayed outside, listed as their species, arrest date, offense, and abundance of useless little details to keep the enforcers busy. But these two apparently hidden sheets that Piper has given me are different. General I. Walker and General Azazel Ripley. Who is this Azazel? Piper turns to face me. The hunter that Alcar fought with. Oh shit. And he's in a cell. They arrested him for getting attacked? I hate to say it for what feels like the trillionth time, but what the fuck? They checked Aya out of her cell last night. Him too. Fuck. But look. She points at the time scribbled next to their names, and there's only a checkout. They haven't come back? It's been over 24 hours. They haven't come back. A loud banging echoes from down the hallway, and Piper quickly snatches the manifest from my hands, shoving them into her shirt. Let's go. We move as fast as we can while staying cautious. Finn is signaling us for a reason, be it an enforcer guard approaching us or the wards being recast. Either way, we need to get out of here. We heard muffled voices drawing nearer and quickly found ourselves against the wall, but we're not hidden. The forest exit is in sight, our escape. Pepper turns to look at me.
It's your call, General.
I see no other option. Time is ticking. We can't stand around and pray we don't get caught. We run for it, on my signal. Piper nods, staying focused on me. I close my eyes, shutting everything else out around me. I can hear them, two people, seemingly not aware of our presence. Yet. Casual conversation, footsteps drawing nearer, but from the dungeon entrance. Far away from us. I open my eyes and hold up my hand, signaling to advance. We run, pushing open the heavy door with ease. Cool, crisp air hits my face, and I spot a tall figure waiting for us. He ushers us away from the door, pushing it closed as quietly as he can. Follow me. He leads us a short distance away into a small clearing where we can still see the surprisingly well-hidden dungeon entrance. What did you find? Enough to tell us who we truly cannot trust. Finn smiles and says it's a thin line, and he nods, taking the hint not to pry further just yet. There are guards approaching, a routine perimeter search. You should head out.
We should split up, just to be safe. I'll head home and get these hidden.
She pats her pocket where the manifests are safely tucked away. Just what I've always wanted, being left alone in these fucking woods again. Clan are scattered around the forest. If you see the creature, don't engage. Not after what happened to Raven. Piper nods, her face grim. Later. I turn to Finn quickly, needing to tell him about his friend. Fierro is in there. He's alive. Well, you know, ish. He's alive? I smile at his obvious glee. We found Fierro. We found evidence. We got in and out without being detected. Tonight was not wasted, and neither was a complete disaster. Finn's smile is bright, and I sense mischief is afoot the way he's looking at me. If the way he's looking at me is any indicator.
I could kiss you.
Do it, coward. He pulls me into a tight embrace, lifting me with a startling ease. I slide down his broad form as he carefully releases me, my feet finding solid ground. I let my palms rest against his chest, getting lost in the way his eyes shine. He's happy, and in turn so am I. You could? He opens his mouth to speak, but his expression quickly shifts. You need to go, now. They're close. I'll distract them if needs be. You being caught out here after papers going missing in there is not something we want them to put together. Head south, a friend is waiting for you. Didn't think we'd leave you out here all alone again, did you? A friend? Just go. The tone of his voice tells me I don't have time to question him. He's right, too. I shouldn't be seen here, no matter how innocent it might look on the surface. I head south as instructed, hearing a rustling in the tree line. Hey. I stopped dead in my tracks at the sight of him, huffing. Hey yourself, so you're the friend then? I'm the friend, whatever that means. Come on, follow me. Keep up. Alcar keeps glancing over his shoulders at me as we move deeper into the forest, following a trail in the dirt so faint I can barely detect it. I almost wanted to tell him he needn't worry about me disappearing in a puff of smoke, but the weighty, grim silence of what I've just learned kills the comment in my chest. It takes some time for me to realize that the boulder in the woods Alcar eventually stops at has the outline of an opening to it. With a smirk thrown over his shoulder at me, he bends and presses his palm into the dirt. So this is where you've been hiding all this time. This is pretty new, but Omen started hanging around more. Sometimes he wanted to stay with me, wanted to give Ezra space, so I watched his shoulders rise and fall on a sharp, short shrug. Can't leave him out in the cold, even if he doesn't feel it. Speaking of, he's down here with me. With the final grunt, Alcar slides back what seems like a passage of the grass and dirt. The entrance is disguised impressively convincing. He reveals a narrow stone staircase leading down under the earth. I come to stand next to him, peering into the abyss. Not that it is dark down there. I see the dim glow of a fire, and I can tell it's warmer down there than up here.
Ezra's a miracle worker, huh? And Finn. You won't believe what a clan of vampires and a witch with a desire to nurture you at any given opportunity can do once they put their minds to it.
The smart key beckons me to go on ahead. I oblige and hear him slide the hatch door closed above our heads. It's not a very long descent, some 10-12 steps at most. I find myself standing in a circular, brightly but gently lit space. Its stone walls partially hidden by curtains strewn about the place, softening the impression that it's, a cave. A string of lights are clearly Ezra's idea. There are cushions and chairs on all sides of the room, though, and I have to wonder if Alcar broke into Piper's house to take some decor notes from her. I resolve to ask him later as the familiar figure curled up and fuming on one of the couches draws my attention immediately. Raven! Owen hops to his feet, dusting his hands on his trousers. His movement sends a flutter of empty candy wrappers to the floor, causing him to flush bright red, turn, and try to pick them up. Alcar snorts as he comes to sit next to Omen, next to where Omen just vacated. He waves a careless hand. Worry about them later, or maybe you can do that burn thing trick, right? Whoa, Omen gives me a nervous look, then his face relaxes and he smiles. The wrappers catch fire with barely a flicker of his power and burn to nothing. It's the first display of his power Omen has showed me, and as he sits back down and picks up a cushion to hug, I think he's more relaxed than he's ever been. Alcar gives him the pat in the back and grins, gesturing towards me. See? It's alright. Yes, of course. Omen turns and regards me for a moment. Then he smiles, shy but soft and relieved. I find myself feeling the same, whether or not I can move my facial muscles to mirror his. Glad to see you here. I was getting worried. I could see the surprise on his face before he laughs it away, covering his mouth with the back of one hand.
I appreciate your concern, but given everything, maybe I should be the one worrying. I was, actually, but...
Omen glances aside, sheepish. Beside him, Alcar is mouthing something. Spat with his sister. Oh, I nodded along, not exactly sure what to say. Omen hasn't been the one to volunteer much information about himself and his sister beyond the big reveal, and at this point, I'm not sure if it should be more or less awkward to ask. After all, I'm fairly sure they're not in any sense responsible for things going to shit around here. Not with what I know now. Fairly sure.
Figured he should be staying out of sight when he can burst into flames at any moment.
Omen whips around to face him, and I can hear the fluster in his voice. I was not! Alcar shrugs lazily, shooting me a shit-eating grin as they're trying to rope me into the teasing. If it counts as teasing, I see the tail of Omen's hair already gaining a cherry red wisp-like quality. Don't worry, you look cute when you're on fire. Omen groans, burying his face in his hands. I stifle a laugh despite myself and come to sit down next to Alcar on the couch. Owen gives me a sharp look like I've done him a small betrayal, but joins Alcar on the other side. He picks up a cushion and holds it close to his chest. We sit in silence for a long moment. It's the most peace I've had for a very long time, especially since coming to Lunaris. These two don't know much of anything, I realize. Well, perhaps not much more than me, even though Alcar has clearly been snooping around, and Omen possibly, definitely, carries his own bag of secrets. But at this moment, in relation to all of this, perhaps we're the same. There's some comfort in that, to not be the only one in the dark. Pass me the jar. I can see Omen startle out of the corner of my eye. I glance his way to catch the flash of guilt on his face, and then he bends over to retrieve something. He surfaces back with a mostly empty glass jar of wrapped candies.
Omen! Ezra's gonna fucking kill me, buddy!
I'm sorry. You said help yourself.
Alcar reaches for the jar, but Omen holds it away from him. Show me your tongue, Omen. Owen's eyes widen, and Alcar leans back from us with a not-so-subtle snicker. I glare at him, which he shrugs off with a roll of his eyes, and we each look at Owen expectantly. The Son of Satan takes a sharp breath and sticks his tongue out at me just enough to mock. I think you should take your allergies seriously.
Well, I think demons ought to be allowed to take their indulgences seriously.
Alcar laughs then, open and full of mirth, and not like any sound I've ever quite heard from him before. He ruffles Owen's hair, then gives his long ear a slight tweak. That's how you show him attitude, yeah? See? You're learning. From the best, I gather. Owen blinks and laughs too, an awkward chuckle that he still tries to stifle behind a hand. Alcar's wolf ears relax, and I see his face soften into something very bright and very fond. You two are outrageously cute. It's almost comical how quickly they separate. Owen almost hops off the edge of the couch at the speed of his retreat. His face and hair turn bright red. While he sputters something incoherent, Alcar leans away from me like I've just insulted his entire family. Interesting. Never say that again. I can't help but grin at how emphatically he says it. You can't handle a bit of truth, can you?
We're friends. Friendship.
He nods vigorously, mostly to himself, I think, clutches the cushion closer to his chest, his eyes looking everywhere but at me. Alcar's head whips around the speed of light, his wolf ears flattening into his soft hair. Whatever expression is on his face that I can't see makes Owen pause. He stares back, jaw slack. Lo Yeku Zazena. And he covers his face with a pillow to muffle the rest of whatever that was. Alcar turns back to him, expression to Graham. Now look what you've done. He's fucking steaming. Owen smacks Alcar's knee hard, at which point I sighed, and the two of them ought to be grateful for my graciousness. Perhaps that it's safe and time to leave. Chuckling, I rise from the couch and take a step away, putting some good much-needed distance between the pair and the mess they're quickly falling apart in. Alright, you two win. Alcar gives me a narrow-eyed look. Interestingly enough, I see his fluffy tail curl around Owen, almost protectively. And Owen's own tail wraps around the fur, twisting in. Coincidence? I don't think so. But saying so might get a half-lycan out of my throat. At least I gather as such from the way Alcar's shoulders are tense, so I keep my mouth shut. Likely he would do me no harm, but even so. Besides, staying right here affords me the best view of this mess. I cross my arms, writing the amusement down. Of all the revelations in this town, this is the most welcome one yet. I better head out then.
Shame, but stay safe and all that. Not that you need that Chad, big and strong as you are.
Good night. Alcar glowers at me, but I distinctly hear no further protest from him. Alright, well, I think we're gonna leave things here for now. If you've been enjoying the game, if you've been enjoying the video series, if you enjoyed this episode, what have you, it would be really cool if you could hit the like and subscribe buttons, and maybe leave a comment if you're feeling generous. And I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye!